In this video, I'm going to explain how I got a perfect against a very strong Naruto player online. And then we're going to talk about, is it actually real and how this affects you? Because this video, there's a lot in this video that you can actually learn from and that can help you as a player. If not, stuff that you can learn and it's entertaining. All right, he's going to start off by doing some cancels there. Attack cancel into dash cancel. Doing a super dash, spark dash, and then he instantly stopped. Trying to bait me in, but I outspaced him, and then I went in and wasted a sub, and right there I have the advantage, 3 to 4 subs. So, here, the ninja tool actually wasted a sub again. Now we're still up 1 more sub, and now the Temari support has him in a trap, and he's really smart to not do much there. I'm using a Chidori just to get the distance. Like, I used that just to close the gap in the distance, and then I jump back, wasted another sub off of the rebound because I know the rebound gives me an advantage there where he's stunned in a free fall. Now I'm up 2 subs. Now I'm up 1, and right there was a bad situation right there where he was stunned. We'll talk more about that later, but we did get him into our support, and then we got him into a tumbling animation. And right here, he has no substitution bars left, and it's not like past games. So, because it's not like past games, once you waste all the subs, you can do whatever you want to them, right? And that's what I chose to do there. I have no chakra, I still have that sub. I baited out his support, outspaced his support, threw a ninja tool down, because that can be our friend most of the time, especially those kunai bags. No one really used to use those kunai bags too much, or most people didn't really think they were useful, but they were always really useful, just a little bit more difficult and technical to use. Technical isn't always better, but it often is. There we go. So here we go. He's getting his substitution bars back, but so am I. You can see here the kunai restand probably does not work at this point because that has been nerfed or patched, and Temari has been patched as well, so she's not as strong. A lot of people don't realize that. They just think she's as strong as she was before. She is not. She was shadow patched. So, here we go. So he actually used that fireball in the air, wasted one of my subs, but he landed him. I got him on landing frames with a Temari with a perfect setup. Here we have some really nice guard pressure. Constant, relentless assault is what I used to call it 10 years ago. I still call it that. And that constant threat of the guard breaking. He has 1 substitution bar. I have 2. He's in the red. He's almost dead. And this is what's going to happen here. We get just that little bit of chakra back, constantly pressuring him. And here, as he woke up, right? We wanted to pressure him as much as possible, but here, actually, there was a lag spike for me, which is really interesting because the entire time I had perfect connection until that one moment, but it looks like we're able to get out of it, and he maybe made some wrong choices here, and there we manipulated his guard to instantly guard break. That was extremely skilled. And here was maybe the one time, or one of the only times, where I actually used my guard in the proper way, but you notice how mine was yellow and his was red. So here, we ninja move perfectly away from the support, getting no chip damage. The important thing here is you cannot get any kind of chip damage, and a lot of jitsus or supports will do chip damage. So earlier when there was the fireball, I had to mash sub to not get hit by it. Here, I have to guard this because it will hit me. You have to guard those. It's very surprising how that didn't hit me. Usually it does. So here we outspace him again, which is very peculiar because I don't know if it should be that easy, to be honest. Which leads us into our next point in the video, right? But here we get the Temari again. And keep in mind, even though Temari is really good, Minato is really not a great support. But if you are going to use him, you want to use the transportation technique. The Rasengan is not as good. So that is basically the thought process of how I did that. But as you can see here, even though he did those awesome cancels there as Sasuke, he's actually moving a little bit slower than me. So overall, the point is this. Like, even here, see how he threw a shuriken? It's like he was reacting to something before. That's why I was able to dash him. When you look at this in full speed, which is the video I uploaded earlier, and when you look at it here, it's really hard to tell unless I tell you all these different cues. But he's in a bad situation, not because I am better than him, right? Not because, like, he's just having a bad day. It is possible that this is one of his first games on the day, but I don't see that. Like right there, that was a delay before that he had. So what I'm saying is that this makes me look better than I am. Is it possible for me to do this? Yes, it is, right? So we're answering the questions. Is this real? And how does this affect you? So the problem is this is online, so there is a lag advantage and lag disadvantage for one or other players. But in this game, it's so slight that you can't tell. But at the kind of caliber player like me and Tagority, in terms of the experience that we have, right, and the fact that we fought each other around 4,000 times, if I have a 20% more reaction speed than him because of the connection, like even there, that thing that happened, that was so weird. Why was his guard open? Why did I get him? It's because his character's not reacting and moving properly, right? So either you believe that I perfected him and I'm just like the god of all Storm games, I'm the best player ever of all time, undisputed. Either you believe that because no one has as many perfects as me. From Storm 2 to Connections, and especially if you just look at Connections, I have the most recorded perfects against skilled players of my elo, right? But it's actually deeper than that. It started for me in Storm 2, and then even in Storm 3. I couldn't do it as much in Gens. I wasn't as good in Gens. I was good in Gens. I was like a top 50 player, but I wasn't as good. Like, I was way better in the other games, all the other games, right? You either believe that I'm the best player, or you have to believe that he's actually has lag disadvantage and I have lag advantage. Because how is it possible that he can't even get a little chip damage? It shouldn't be, right? Like in a normal fighting game, really good players can perfect each other and all that. That's fine. This game is built differently. There's just too many chances. Like even if like a average player, right, fights a very skilled player, that average player can chip you at some point because it's way too hard to avoid all the damage, right? So I personally believe, right, like that guard break was way too easy and he was too vulnerable, right? And here, and that's a perfect example. Like his guard was instantly red and then broke and mine stayed yellow. Of course, more things were hitting it, but easier guard breaks, right? And the ability to dodge better. The ability to get dash advantage is what I have. The ability to do a move first, right? To get that first player advantage or peer-to-peer advantage, right? In the packet loss and gain and all that and, you know, whatnot. It's like I'm able to react. See? I'm able to just react and move out of the way. And there's really not much you can do about it. Like I'm constantly getting him in falling animations and all this kind of thing. And I'm just constantly having the advantage over him. Like he's just constantly getting hit. And that's just impossible. Of course, this is fake. So how does it affect you? Well, this is happening to people all the time and they can't tell these small differences in terms of, are they actually good at the game or is the game letting the other person win? That's the important thing to take here, right? The important takeaway is are you actually good at the game? And are you actually better than the game? Better at the other person than the game? Because if you're really good at the game, right? But then the other person's also really good at the game, a lot of times there's this third thing happening, which has been happening probably like 90% of the time since Storm 2 came out, and no one talks about it and nobody notices it. But like, it's almost like the other player gets Rock Lee's ankle weights. It might only give them a 5% delay, or a 10% delay, or 20%. It's like a speed debuff that you can't see, okay? A reaction debuff that you can't see, right? And a lot of times, though, it's a lot more than 20%. So what I would say is I had basically perfect connection, except for the end, when I had that leg spike for that one moment. But the entire time, he had like a permanent... I may have been like a 10 out of 10 connection, right? Or a 9.5 out of 10, which is like the best you can get. But he was at like a 7 or a 7.5. And that delay is enough that I can just predict his every moves, and I'm the one that looks like a god. I'm the one that looks amazing, and he looks like he doesn't know how to play. And I can tell you, I mean, I don't even have to tell you. You guys have seen amazing gameplay from him and great stuff from him on my channel over the years. So clearly, It's not that he's fallen off. It's not that he's not good. It's not that he's not skilled, right? It's that the game isn't letting him play the game at his abilities. It's a thief, and it's stealing his abilities away, and it's doing it to you too. It's doing it to all of you at times. Some people are kind of luckier, and I don't know why, where they typically don't have an issue too much with lag online, but most players have this issue, and they don't even realize this is happening to them.